Alrighty, guys, welcome back to Dating Doc TV. My name is Nadia, and today we have a guest out from Austin. His name is Nick, and he is going to be here getting ready to talk to us about all things Austin. We're going to get into the nitty gritty here. So, just a reminder today, our topic is over. We're going to be talking about the Mean Girls movie. Do we like it? Do we hate it? Then, we're going to talk about dating as a realtor. Just wanted to remind you guys really quickly our next speed dating event is coming up. Okay, so it's right there, January 26th at 7:30. You can scan that QR code up at the top, so that way you can grab those tickets. Once again, QR code at the top, so that way you can grab those tickets. Alrighty, well, let's get right into it. So, hello, Nick. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you, Nadia?
I'm doing good. I was like, Wednesdays are not too bad for me, so I'm doing just fine. Thanks for asking. So let's get into it. Right here, we have this Mean Girls 2024 review. So basically, it sounds like either people hate it or they love it. And that's kind of that. That's like basically the gist of like everything I've seen. And
Wait, you
then
talking about the movie?
yes. So not the original Mean Girls. This is like the newest movie that came out. It's a musical actually. So basically, it's the Mean Girls vibe from '04, but then it's also combined with musical because they do have the Broadway musical called Mean Girls. So now they just kind of made that into a movie and made it like I guess 2024 edition, and they've tried to bring back as much as they could from the '04 movie and vibe, but obviously like that can probably never be duplicated. So yeah, either people either really love it or they really hate it. That's kind of what I'm getting here. And some people think like it's just an overbearing, musical kind of thing. So it's just interesting to see how people are basically like thinking about like, oh, that's what it is. That's what they're thinking. Like that's kind of it. So it's interesting. I was like, have you seen this movie yet?
I haven't. I saw. Well, last musical that I saw was gonna be Willy Wonka, which is the newest one that came out. But yeah, I have not seen it yet.
I
But
was
I
like,
have seen the original, like I don't know, twice a year for every year.
you're like, I've seen it many, many, many times.
Yeah, it's like always on. So
I
yeah,
know it's
classic.
it is a classic. I'm actually kind of sad that this movie doesn't hold up. Unfortunately, it just seems like it's just. I guess it's just not for everyone, and I think too many people had too many expectations. It seems like too many expectations of like, oh, it's going to be just like the '04 one. I feel like people forgot about that. It's actually a musical more than anything. Like that is the basis of that movie before it's actually a movie. So that's
Yeah,
that.
I feel like as like a standalone movie, there's like a lot of franchises like Star Wars and all that. But I mean, like as a standalone movie, I feel like that's really hard to compete with. Like you're remaking like a classic. You know?
That's what I'm saying. I feel like everyone's expectations are probably too high, and I feel like maybe people who haven't seen the movie, they're they're the ones that maybe like it a lot, and then people who have seen the '04 Mean Girls are like, oh my god, this movie is trash. I don't like it. It's not
The
what
old people like us.
and I was like, I'm telling you, it's people either really like it or they really hate it, even though it debuted with like over 20 million in the box office. So I mean, good for them. They probably definitely made a profit of some sort.
Oh yeah.
So, enough about the movie. I wanted to think about really quickly for any men that are watching, I want to know, okay, men, I want you to speak up. I want you to tell me what makes you attracted to a woman and what is a major turnoff. So you can just drop your chat in the comments. I want to see what you have to say. So, Nick, what do you think about this one?
That is a huge topic. Let's see. What makes me attracted to a woman? I feel like it's a combination. Like There's no one thing that can make me attracted to a woman in any kind of way. I feel like personal drive is a big one. Um, let's see, drive, uh, how they present themselves. Not so much physically, but in a social setting, I feel like you can really tell if somebody's like a good person. If you see them interact with people around them. Um, so much is attraction. I mean, I would say I like a very strong woman. Like the figures that I have in my life are like my grandma and my mom. They're very much if anything, like for instance, like my dad, somehow couldn't work because he broke his leg. My mom was willing and wanted to put in 110% effort to provide for the family and to provide for her husband. I feel like someone that loves you should be willing to do anything for you in your time of need. So, um, you know, someone that's willing to be there even in tough times.
Right. Those are all good traits. Right here we have, do you agree with this comment? We have her looks, her talent, her joy, and her character. Okay. And those are positives. And then we have as some turnoffs, lying, gaslighting, and not a good, considerate person. I feel like those are all valid turnoffs. Like even me, like for a man, I feel like those would be turnoffs too. Like not just like for men to think about.
I feel like as I get older, and I'm not sure if you feel the same way, but as I get older, those things happen less because I filter them out prior to like actually getting in a relationship with somebody. Like I see it so much easier than when I was like 21, you know?
Are you saying that you're basically like figuring out those qualities sooner rather than later? Is that what you're implying?
So much sooner. And when they do happen, I see it. Like it's just up front and I know what to do.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder if the older crowd is able to, pick up on these things easier than a younger crowd. Do you think a younger crowd kind of just brushes those things off, or they're just kind of like not even thinking about it, or it's just like, oh, I'm younger, I'm
Absolutely.
young and dumb, I'm not really
I've
thinking about it.
I've been in that situation. Like some like before I even knew like the term gaslighting or any of that. I was in a total I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about my past relationships, but I was in a totally abusive relationship, the other way around, like years ago. And I've learned so much since. Like it was a total learning experience. I actually wouldn't even take that back. Like I feel like it's gonna help me in the future.
For sure. Yeah, I agree that we have another comment here that says that this happens with all ages, which is true. Yeah, I was like, I guess whether you're 21 or you're 45, those things, like those negative things, can still happen. Like it doesn't
Oh,
necessarily.
of course.
Maybe when you're younger, you're probably. I feel like when you're younger, you're not thinking about those things first. Those things come last, and then that becomes like a big problem later. Because at first it's just like the oohs and the ahs, where
Puppy love.
and but beyond the puppy love part, because puppy love can be at any age. It's just basically the beginning stage of a relationship. So I'm just saying, I feel like when you're younger, you're not really thinking about those things ahead of time. It's more like when you were saying, like when you get older, now you're thinking about those things first, and then everything else comes right after. Like you were saying, you're able to identify those things first, and then that gives you a good perspective of like, do I want to continue with this person or not? So that's how I feel like as you get older, those are the things that change. Unless you just never develop as a person, and then you're the 50-year-old who's thinking about just like I don't care, it's whatever. I was like, I don't know if you see a lot of those out in Austin. I'm sure it's very popular out in Austin. Do you see a lot of, I would say, sugar daddy relationships? I feel like they're obvious to point out.
Oh my God, there's so many. It's
I
ridiculous.
feel like they're very obvious to point out. Am I wrong?
Kinda, but yeah, they gotta. I feel like the guys and the girls, they got a certain look to them. But so much as what we were talking about. What was it? Oh, example recently happened, right? About the things that I wouldn't notice back then. So I'm not talking to anyone right now, but there's like, little sparks here and there. And I feel like one thing that recently happened was I got the classic "don't hate me, but I can't hang out" type thing. Like after, I got ready to hang out and all that good stuff. Um, and I got that, you know, saying from her. I guess old me really would see that as like, oh, why would I hate you? Like, that's not, I couldn't hate you. You didn't do anything wrong. But now I've noticed with that in particular person, the I don't hate you type thing I mean, don't hate me type thing is, it's definitely gaslighting. Like, why you obviously ditched me and you're trying to make me feel bad about it. That's something I don't even put up with nowadays. So that's what I mean, how as I've gotten older, it's changed.
Right. I feel like when people say that, I can't hang out, you know, you can drop a comment in the chat and, if you agree or disagree. But I feel like when you say I can't hang out, I mean, sometimes it's probably genuine, like maybe they truly mean it and something truly did come
Oh
up.
no, the like don't hate me part.
Oh, but that part, the don't hate me, then
Yeah, I was just like,
also
come on.
that's definitely like a forefront of an answer of like you're or I'm not about to like the answer that's gonna come after that, right? Like don't hate me because of this. It's like don't hate me. Oh my god, we can't hang out anymore, or I don't want to hang out
Yeah,
with you.
just tell me I don't want to hang out because I'm tired. Like, I don't know. Like, literally, I don't care. Just be honest with me.
Right, exactly. I was like, so Nick, how do you take honesty?
Wait, can you say that again?
I want to know, how do you take honesty? Is that something that you put at the very top? Is that something you're super serious about? Especially when you're meeting someone for the first time. What do you think about honesty?
Yeah, brutal honesty. Like, I like honesty to the fullest extent. There's really no limit to it. I mean, I feel like I want to hear it, like, no matter what it is. I would rather somebody tell me the truth than me find out later. It saves a lot of heartache, a lot of headaches, and that's how you should be with your partner. I feel like you should fully be able to express yourself at all times.
Right. So this person said they probably don't like you that much. They got better plans if they at least suggest a different date. Yeah. So if they probably suggested an alternative, then you know that they're still interested because that's a big difference versus hardcore just cold canceling is the difference between like I can do it today, but I can do it tomorrow, or I can do it a couple days from now. Because I feel like if the person provides an alternative, then that's still showing some interest. How do you feel about that, Nick?
I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, in my experience, if they make an effort to like reschedule, that's fine. But like, you don't have to hide it in smoke. You can
Right.
just tell me. Like, there's a lot of times that if I invite someone to hang out, so maybe about a week or 2 weeks ago, I, went on a date myself. And it was a situation where like I was absolutely exhausted. I thought about canceling it, but I didn't cancel it. I just thought I'm gonna power through it. I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna be the best version I can be, even though I'm tired. Um, so I feel like if I really had to cancel, I know personally I would have rescheduled out of respect. But I try not to do that. I feel like I wouldn't go that far if I wasn't interested.
Right. There's another good comment here. I also wanted to show the audience again. I pulled it up earlier while you were talking. So this person said, in regards to earlier, sometimes it's a way of letting you down easy and trying to be nice, but it doesn't feel any better to the one on the receiving end. Yeah. So like if I'm getting the cancel text or can't hang out text or don't hate me text or you're getting it, yeah, I think regardless of the outcome, who do you think has the short end of the stick? The person getting the message or the person sending it? Probably the person getting it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And that's something that I've learned as I gotten older too. I feel like that scenario happens less and less. I feel like I see it coming, and I know personally, me, um, I'll make the effort no matter what, if I like somebody.
yeah, that's definitely part of strong character. It's another good comment here I want to show everyone. So it says it's hard for women to be straightforward. It's just how it is. So in my experience, let's see, it's basically a no to anything that has anything to do with women. Okay, so here, this comment is saying like, I mean, I can agree with that to an extent that as a woman, sometimes it can be hard to be straightforward because I feel like the perception of men when I'm saying I can't do this, I can't hang out with you, or I need to cancel. I don't think I've ever told anyone the don't hate me part. I was like, but I've definitely heard those kinds of stories before, but I've never been the one to say like, oh, don't hate me, but sorry, not sorry, or like we're not hanging out. Like I've never been the one to say that. So I can't speak for that part of it, but I can speak for the part of like, yes, I do agree that sometimes, and it could just be because it's a woman thing versus a man thing, that I feel like when we're the ones having to say like, I'm sorry, I don't want to go out with you, or I don't want to, continue whatever we're doing, then I feel like it makes us look like the bad person, and it makes us feel, like, oh my god, like I'm in the wrong, or I'm in the hot seat because I said no, or I told no, that kind of thing. And I don't know if as men, if you guys feel that way, but I feel like as women, I feel like when we do it, we look like we're the 100% bad guys. We're in the hot seat. Whether you tell all your guys about it or not, like it's just how we feel about the situation. So I don't know how you guys feel on the receiving end. Like if you're doing it, like if you were doing that to me, like how would you feel? Or would you even be thinking those things? Or would you just be like, you know what? I'm being honest. I'm telling her in a timely manner. So that's that. I'm moving on with my life. I don't know how, men think, but that's kind of how we're women lie with that. What do you think, Nick?
So, I was talking more so of like I'm already been out with that person like a few times. Uh, so it's a little bit different than me not knowing somebody at all and then them presenting that to me like, "Oh, hey, I actually can hang out tonight," type thing. Like I feel like the most recent example, like as I was saying, like I actually got invited out, you know. So it's hard to I don't know, like why invite me out type thing if it's gonna be a possibility of cancel or you're gonna cancel.
But do you think that people are thinking that, ahead of time? Like I feel like most people are not thinking with that intention of like, I'm going to invite him out because I'm going to cancel later.
No, 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 no. I don't think it's that devious at all. I think
I
it's
feel like I feel like that's not necessarily what's happening, especially in a woman's mind. And yes, we all know that like life things happen, things come up, right? And it's you know, how do you think it's the best way to be respectful and approach someone or just message them, just be like, sorry, can't do it.
I guess just look further into the future, do what I did when I was speaking about earlier. Basically like I'm not going to invite someone to hang out if I'm not going to go through with it. It's that simple.
Right. I know. I guess it also just depends on how you say it. I feel like if you say it in a very nice demeanor where you're being respectful still, that's also portrayed differently than I feel like if you say it in a very harsh way or you say it like the way you were telling me, like, don't hate me, but or when I feel like when you just start it off like in a negative connotation of any kind, then yes, you were totally setting yourself up for like a gaslighting situation, whether you like it or not. So I think how you approach people, whether you're talking to them in person or you're talking through text, I feel like it makes a big deal of how you start those sentences. And it's how you talk to people in general. Oh,
How's
I,
that work for you?
Oh, I totally agree. Okay, so what do you think about this, Nick? So this person's saying, okay, but a girl who wastes a guy's time, who's not her type, and mistreats him is not cool, but generally it's always the man's choice to accept what we're willing to tolerate. Okay. What do you think about this, Nick?
100% agree. Um, yeah, I feel like even even myself, there's certain ladies that have a pass. Maybe if there's like a not necessarily a history, but let's just say there was 10 total times that we hung out, and out of those 10 times, 8 times were great and completely respectful, and then 2 of the times were just like flat out like excuses or like a lie, when you could just honestly be truthful with me. um, I agree. I mean, I could completely just end it, but I don't want to because I'm single and I feel like no one's perfect. I'm not perfect at all.
I know, no one's perfect, but we try our best to strive to perfection as much as possible. Do you think that trying to strive for perfection is a toxic trait?
I think that everyone should try to strive to be the strongest version of themselves, like in a nutshell. Um, However you want to put that. I mean, perfection, you can't reach it, but being the best you, anyone can do that.
Right, well said. So here are some things that can make a high value woman based on some surveys. So we have the most common are self love, kind and compassionate, commitment to growth, self aware and empathetic, being vulnerable, self care, maturity. So, how do you think about these, Nick? Do you think that these are things that you look for in women, or do you agree with this? Majority of surveys that say that these are part of the traits that make a high value woman.
Absolutely. I think all of those are pretty spot on. I mean, that's what I look for in a woman that I think the few women in my life that have absolutely either burned in a memory or, I've talked to in the last recent years, they have all those traits. I mean, it's a wonderful thing. It's very human. Men can have all those things too, you know.
Right, of course. So, is there anything on that list that you feel like you'd like to add? Like, what else do you think makes a high value woman? I'll show you the list again. So, I feel like these are all pretty much on the nail.
Yeah, I mean, those are all things that those are very like common good traits in somebody in
But what
general.
do you look for in a woman? So, everyone who is watching and is out in Austin, Nick is single and he's available. And please tell us, what do you want in a woman?
Oh man, feel underprepared. Um, I feel like I mean, I'm open. Everybody's different. I mean, I feel like I'm different from the guy next to me type thing. Um, so much as what I want in a woman, I would say, damn, I guess just patience and see somebody for the way that like I see a woman. Like for instance, like if I see some girl that's willing to give me time, I look at her and I see a very I have her high real quick, right? And I like to see like, okay, this girl treats me this well, and damn, just having brain farts today.
It's okay. It's okay. Maybe some of our viewers can help us out. It's like, if you're a male watching, what makes a high value woman? And do you think that there's any other traits that weren't on the list that you would like to add that, you know, there you go. Okay. This is on the list. Okay. Fast response. Thank you, Andrew. So maturity, someone who can balance adulting and enjoying life. Oh my gosh, I think that's so important because I feel like as you age, I feel like people take life very, very seriously and then they take the fun out of it. And then I feel like that's hard. It's like you want this very much like what he's saying, balance of, adulting, but also, enjoying life, being able to have fun, being able to let go. Because yes, we only have one life, but then also like, yes, we only have one life. So you want to make the best of it and you want to have fun, every single second that you can. I feel like it's hard to live your life in like a super serious lifestyle. Because I feel like one, that's probably not fun for you, and then two, that's probably not fun for others. And I feel like if you're on a date and I'm with someone that is just super serious to the bone, like doesn't make any kind of laugh, but they're just still, and I'm just like just
Yeah,
talking.
I
Like,
definitely like the opposite. Like, I like a very like energetic type, woman if I am dating. Like, I feel like I feed off of it in the good way. Like, I match it. So if I see someone that's like really hyper and like upbeat and like talkative and social, like it just brings the best out in me.
wow, this is another good one. This is actually something I resonate with for sure. So this one says, someone who has closed doors from their past and doesn't keep ex-lovers around on social media, it's important for a high value load for me. So I feel like that is definitely something that I think a lot of people underestimate going into relationships when they think that they are truly over someone and instead they're not, and then very shortly they come back into their lives, whether it's in a good way or a bad way, because sometimes it can get super serious with like, now my ex is stalking me and my future lover, and that's obviously that's not okay and that's not good. But I feel like I'm not saying that you have to go and like unfollow all your exes on media, because sometimes you guys end up being friends and things work out fine. I know that's not always the case, but I feel like the important part of that comment is that you have closed the door and you have like moved on, and whoever that you want to date next, you're not gonna bring that up and you're not gonna think about it because you want to be with this person, you want a new experience, you want a new dating life with this person. And I feel like a lot of people can't get over that hump of, well, I'm still thinking about my ex, or you're going to compare him or her to your ex. And I feel like that's not good for anybody's mentals. And I feel like it's not good for a relationship, especially at the beginning. I don't know why you would ever want to compare in that way, or why you would verbally say that, to someone that you're trying to date. Like, if you're trying to be with this person, have a new experience, why would you bring up people from your past? Why would you bring up your ex? It's like, you're trying to date me. I'm here. We're trying to make this new experience together. So I think that's very important, being able to close those doors off and like, you know, they're an ex for a reason. You guys had your highs and your lows. So obviously it's not one of those things where it's like, oh my gosh, like my ex, it's terrible and it was a waste of time. Because I disagree with that statement, because it's not necessarily a waste of time, because at one point in time you did enjoy date them because you were,
Absolutely.
right? So I feel like people who are always like extreme haters, of their exes and stuff, it's like, but you did date them at one point, right? You did share a connection with them, right? Right. And I'm like trying to be in the middle.
100%.
I'm not trying to,
No,
on one or the other side. I'm just trying to be on the fair side here. And I feel like that's usually what it is. It's like you experienced something with someone at one point in time. Obviously, they're an ex because it didn't work out for some reason, right? Whether it was good or bad or mutual partings, but you still shared something with them and you still enjoyed some time with them. So I feel like that's where I stand with that. So I just wanted to remind everyone who is watching, remember we have that QR code at the top to get your tickets for the next dating event. And with the link on our Eventbrite, if you're in Austin, we also have events going on in Austin. Just keep that in mind, whether you're in San Antonio or Austin. I just wanted to remind you guys, I dropped this in the chat at the very beginning, but whoever's the best interactive guest on the live stream, you guys will get a surprise Venmo from the dating doc, from the CEO himself. So just remember to send us a DM at the end so that way you can get your prize. Okay, so we're gonna go into this video we shared it on Instagram, and I want y'all to watch it and we're gonna talk about this.
What'd you say?
Why are we splitting the bill?
Well, I mean, it's our first date, so I thought we should maybe go half.
I can't believe you made us split the bill.
I mean, you ordered an appetizer that I didn't even touch. Why do you think that I should
Okay,
pay
but
for
you asked me out.
it? I know, but you ordered something
You
that I did.
asked me out.
All right, I'll just take you home and. All right, see ya. Hello? Hello? See ya.
Alrighty, so what do we think about that one, Nick? Do you
Uh,
how he was feeling, or how
so
do you stand on that?
I don't do that. I would never. I wouldn't go that far. So, okay, so if I feel stingy with my money, me personally, um, it's because I don't like you. Like, I'm gonna be real. Like, it's either just physical, like I wanted to skip dinner type thing and just have fun, or maybe I was bored and like I made a mistake in asking you out, but I went through with it anyways. But I don't do that. So to me, if I ask you out, I'm going to pay, but I do find it very attractive if a girl on her own says something like, hey, like, let me get the tip, something like that. I just feel like not so used because as a man, I've 100% just been used for food. I don't know, like 50 times in my life. Like, it's fucked up. And like, I pretty much just like right after dinner, it just ends. And I never hear from him again. And I'm out $80, like it's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably not the only one that feels that way. Andrew said, dude was way too chill, in my opinion. That's pretty funny. I mean, it did seem like she was definitely more angry than he was. I mean, at least she went through with it. It wasn't like she was just like, no, I refused, and she just kind of like dipped. But I think it's still funny, like the whole concept of, come on, like I was just meeting you, like I barely ate.
I'll give you a perfect example, but it wasn't at a restaurant. So we met at a bar here in Austin. And, you know, I 100% agree. Like, me and this girl were not dating. So she's free will to do whatever she wants at any point in time. But that being said, we're sitting 1 foot from each other at the bar top talking, and this girl is getting blown up like fucking Christmas tree phone going off. Like, it's just every single like tender ding, bumble, chime, like constantly, right? And it's like I'm getting 40% of her attention, in that sense. Then like she agreed to go out with me. So I don't know, it definitely crossed my mind to just leave. Like, I was not even gonna pay my own tab. I mean, we were only like 2 drinks in, but like at the same time, I'm like, how disrespectful. Like, you absolutely went out with me today just for some food and some drinks. You're not even paying attention to me. It's kind of bullshit.
Oh my gosh, that is so terrible. And I feel like, men can relate with you. Any of the men watching, please drop your comments and let me know if you relate to Nick and how he's feeling with that. Because you're not the only one who's told me where you basically feel as if when you go on a date that it's 100% just for the give me the food and the drink, and then it's like, yeah, maybe I give you my attention, maybe I don't. And I feel like that's even more embarrassing if you knew those things of like the Bumble and the Tinder pings. They like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm a single man. I know what the sounds like. I'm not a fucking idiot, So I just found it super disrespectful. Like, even if I am in that dating stage and talking to other girls, like, I'm going to turn off my phone or just like simply turn it on silent, turn it over, and give that person my full attention because I'm out with them, and that's all there is to it.
I know. I know, that's so sad. But I'm sure that you're not the only one that has gone through that.
No, no, yeah, totally a thing. Like I have, well, not anymore. I've had girl roommates and like they've just openly said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go get some free dinner." Like, ha 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 ha. And I'm like, y'all are fucking evil. I was like, holy shit.
I know, and I've heard from a lot of men too that tell me that, they're kind of straying away from making the first date the most expensive date because they have a feeling that this girl might just be like in it and quit it, and like you get nothing in return. Like you get literally nothing, like not a hug, not a kiss, you get nothing. You literally just get, I showed up, I am here, thanks for my meal, Nick, bye.
So I learned that as a 28-year-old man, 2 years ago, working at this country club here in Austin. There's the bar manager that at the bar I worked at. His name was Glenn. He's old man, like old black man, and he there was this coworker of mine, another bartender, that was getting played. Like he would spend like $300 on a date, and this didn't happen to me. But I mean, he was a youngin, and he was going all out right off the bat, more so than the average guy. Which that's cool. I'm glad that he like wants to put in that effort. But Glenn gave me some advice that like stuck with me. He was like, "You always hear nowadays that like women want to be treated like a queen." Right? And like it's just a common thing you hear, like, oh, like your man better treat you like a queen, blah blah blah, this and that, this and that. But like that title of queen, he's like, is earned. He's like by the woman. He's like, you present her with all that you can provide, all the nice things that you can do with her. And if she wants to see her, like she can build herself up to that level of queen where like, you want to take care of this girl. But if you start them off that way right away, like there's a good chance you're just going to lose out on everything, like as the guy. And I think about that now. I no longer am gonna just take a girl out for steak. Like if we haven't gone on a few dates, why? You know?
Yeah, so are you on the same boat as many other men that I've talked to that are like, they're transitioning to not making the first date the most expensive. Now they're kind of like opting for something a little bit, I would say, a little bit more relaxed, also a little bit more cost effective. Like, why don't we just go get some coffee before I know that I want to wine and dine you kind of thing?
I'll be honest with you. I went on a date yesterday. I took the girl for pho. You know, like spent like $28. Nothing crazy. But I realized in that date that she was equally into me as I was to her. So there'll be a second date. Maybe I'll take her somewhere nicer. I will take her somewhere nicer. But I'm really glad I didn't take her to, a really fancy restaurant because I would say 8 times out of 10, it's not going to go anywhere. And then I'm just out, a couple $100.
Right. Yeah, so Andrew agrees with your comment where he said, yes, it's earned. Both sides have work to do when you were talking about, like, do you think the term queen is earned? So I asked him that. So, and I think that too, I feel like a lot of women probably just want to be on queen status, like, immediately, right? And I know maybe there's women out there that are watching this and they're like, oh my God, why is she such a woman here? And I'm not. I'm just trying to level off the playing field and I'm trying to be fair for both sides. And I do think a lot of women want queen status quickly, if not like from day one. And yes, it does leave mostly the men, with the short end of the stick, especially if it's like, oh, he took me to Perry's and wined and dined me, and I'm never going to talk to him again, and I don't care. And it's like, but then you end up with the short end of the stick as the man because you paid for the tab, more than likely. And then on top of it, you're like, wow, I'm out at dinner and now I got to start this like date cycle process all over again because this person just wanted to, eat some food. And it's like, if you just genuinely wanted to eat some food, you should have just been like, hey, Nick, you're cool, but can we just go eat? Like, I just want to eat.
If I wanted the time of a woman, I would just get a sugar baby, I would be honest with you. Like, I feel like if
I
that
was
if it
gonna
was
say that too.
if it was that transactional, which it can be a lot of times, it feels like I'm just like, oh, great. I spoke to you for an hour and a half and I'm out $200. In my head, I'm just like, God damn. I was like, I could have spent another, $150 and just had a nice night with some woman, like, and gotten her dinner, you know?
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. This
Bullshit.
is something that also interests me. Is so this person said, I've asked girls for a walk or coffee date, and yeah, they're not down to go. Maybe they're not down for the either they're not really down to hang out with you, or they're definitely just in it for the money aspect of like, well, why don't you take me out on a meal, or why don't you, buy me dinner because I don't want to make myself dinner. I was like, I feel like when women go on dates suddenly and quickly, and yes, like you were saying, like, I can't wait to go get a free meal, or I can't wait to get that. And I feel like it's those kinds of intentions that make men very like uncertain of, maybe I don't want to take the next person out to Perry's. Maybe I don't want to take the next person out for a steak. Like, and then it's kind of like, why don't I just test the waters? And like this person was saying, like, want to go for coffee? You want to go out on a hike? You want to be healthy? Like for me, like I would definitely test the waters and be like, you want to come to my Pilates class? Like, maybe like you want to see me be active? Like I want to see you be active. Like I don't
Yeah,
know.
I feel like I've altogether just completely stopped that behavior and taking, a lady out for a $150, $200 dinner only for a roll of the dice for not to be in my favor. I don't do that anymore. Um, I feel like all the relationships that I've had in the last 10 years have been ones that have had an influence in my life. Um, one of my total 5 girlfriends in my life was simply the key tag girl at the gym for 3 whole years. Like, she just scanned me in every day. We had a tiny conversation every day, was nothing crazy, but I know that that girl wanted to talk to me, like, regardless if I was at the gym or not. Like, it was simple, it was real, and I was willing to go above and beyond for her because of the fact that, there was a connection there. And I knew I wasn't being used for, you know, a steak night out. It was a real connection. And those are the connections that I strive for now.
Honestly. So, you are a realtor. So, I wanted to quickly touch up on if anyone can relate to Nick dating as a realtor. So, we had some highs of like high energy, perseverance, always looking good, some lows were high expectations, low maintenance, and lots of time invested in your job. So, Nick, so once you became a realtor, how did your dating life change for the good or for the worse?
I would say I'm definitely still on the come up. You know, uh, a statistic I recently saw within my own office, there was 180 people who started with my company in 2021. And out of those 180 people, give or take, there's 3 of us between Austin and San Antonio, left. So I feel like right away people are expecting like, oh, I'm a realtor. I'm gonna drive a Porsche tomorrow, type thing. Like, I'm gonna buy myself a house and a boat and all that good stuff. But and that is very well the case. Like, there's so many people in my office that absolutely make like a ridiculous amount of money. Like, it's insane. But none of that happened in 2 or 3 years. This all happened in like 8 to 10 years. And so it's a slow job to get into. I mean, it takes effort every day. You're feeding it, you're growing it. It's like a little baby, and it's not easy. And I feel like sometimes it's discouraging as a single man because I would say being in real estate has made me feel more alone than I ever felt in my whole entire life.
Really? You want to expand on that?
Um, so at least here in Austin, so I have a sweet spot for San Antonio girls, as I've told you before, because I feel like they're just more humble and it's just where I grew up. Here in Austin, it's like, what do you drive? What do you have? And how much money do you make? And I feel like girls feel that way even if they don't know they're, saying those kind of things in their own head. And I've talked to a lot of my guy friends about it, and it's totally a thing. And so me growing my business here in Austin, knowing that I could very well make more money having any job I've had in the past is it's hurtful for myself. I feel like I could be doing any office job, living a comfortable, mediocre life, probably get to know some girl, and that's it. Caps on. You don't really make any more money than that. You're working for somebody. But at the same time, right now, since I'm like full steam ahead, I put all my time and energy towards my business. I feel like a lot of girls don't aren't there for the journey. They're just there for the final outcome, and that's especially a thing here in Austin. I feel like the girls that I've met in the past, especially in San Antonio, like I talk about like my own family, uh, you know, they're there for the fight and the journey because they like you for who they are, not what you are in the end.
Right. Yeah, it does seem like some people, like you were saying, they're definitely like looking for like, okay, you're here now, but I want to join you when you're already here, right? Like on level 10. It's like, well, it's gonna take me time to get to level 10. Right now I'm like on level 3. And I feel like, yeah, some women, especially in the Austin scene, are not, for that. They're like, I need you to be at level 10 now. And if you're not at level 10, I'll go find someone who's at level 10. And I feel like that's so intense, but I feel like that's definitely what happens.
I mean, it's motivating 100%. Like, I could just be sitting there, all depressed and thinking like, oh, I may never be there, and I might not ever be there. But, uh, thing is like I'm constantly hitting it every single day, no matter what. Like whether there's a good outcome, bad outcome, I'm just doing it the same every day, and I never give up. And that's why I've said that as I have major perseverance and that kind of thing.
I just want to quickly touch on, can you tell us some other Austin date night ideas? So we have a few here. So he mentioned some really good spots would be like the JW Marriott rooftop. You could do like a picnic. You could do concerts. You could do the Hula Hut. I heard good things about that one. You could do Eastside Tavern. I would definitely go to the Museum of Ice Cream. I feel like that's super cute and super fun. Do you have any other things to add?
Hmm. Well, I mean, hello.
Oh, this is a good comment. No, you're good, you're good. But I just want to quickly touch on this comment. So Andrew is saying it can be a double standard. The woman only wants the man at his peak, but wants him to accept her as a work in progress, right? So yeah, it is definitely a double standard there for sure. And it's like, yeah, you want me to be at level 10, but you're at a level 2, and then what's your response to that? It's like, well, I'm working on it, I'm getting there. But really quickly, I just wanted you to touch on if there was any other Austin areas or spots to talk about.
I mean, there's definitely Austin is a city of, unlimited restaurants and places and things to do. Me personally, I don't like a lot of those things. I like, really sweet creative things like picnics and, spending time together outside of a nightclub or a $300 meal. So all the places that I put on my list were places that I've had a really good time at, because I've been single for 3 years. I've gone on really good dates, and the dates that I've would say were successful, even if it didn't end in a relationship, um, were the spots that I said.
Yeah, those are some really good ones. I know most of them are like summer based, but I feel like that's why I was like, any other ones, even for when it's cold. But I don't know. I feel like
Lala's Little Nugget, if you want to add that on there, super cute.
that sounds
It's
cute.
yeah, Lala's Little Nugget is a 24/7, not 24/7, like whatever, till 2 in the morning, 365-day a year bar in Austin, and is a Christmas bar year round. Don't ever ask the story of Lala's Little Nugget because it's super depressing, but it is a super cute bar to go to any time of year.
That is awesome to hear. I just want everyone just quickly remind you, we do have our Venmo tag at the top, and we do have different tiers for Venmo donations. So here, $10, you get the expert advice from the CEO himself. And then as we go down in the tiers, you get everything to the top, right? So if you're at the $50 level, then you get a personal thank you video from me, maybe Tony as well, and everything else above. So we have our QR code up there. Please, I put in the chat for Andrew and the YouTube user Coconut Palms. I want you guys to send me your Venmos either in the chat, or you can send a DM to the dating doc for our IG account. So you can get a surprise Venmo for being the most interactive guest today on our pod. If you guys want to leave any other comments or chats, please let me know. So yeah, Andrew and Coconut Palms, please drop your Venmos down or send a DM to the Dating Dog IG, so that way we can get you that Venmo tag. But as of now, that's all we got for today. So thank you so much, Nick, for joining. It was good having you. Thanks for talking on today. So we will see all of you guys in a couple of weeks, where we will have another dating coach as a guest. So please get ready for that. It's coming up on the 31st. Get plenty of time, put it in your calendar, and get ready to watch. So I'm Nadia. This is Nick. Thank you guys so much for joining. This is the Dating Doc TV. We will see you on January 31st. Bye.